Medfield TV.
Hello Medfield, and welcome to the newest edition of Happenings at the Medfield Senior Center. I think the woman that is sitting here beside me, you probably all recognize, Roberta Lynch, who's been on the job for how many years now? 15, wow, 15 years, and does a super job, as I think almost all people my age would be the first ones to say. So she's going to tell us what's going on now, and we'll go to a little bit of what used to go on, compare everything. Perfect. So Roberta, what's up today?
Thank you for those nice words. That's nice to hear. So this center is really, I'm just going to start off by saying, a really great place. We just had a new person come in today to start the 10:30 exercise class, having had, you know, hip and knee and all that sort of replacement. And, you know, he just said, I need to get out and start being with people and exercising, and this is a place for me to go. So it was really, right before we left, I just had this conversation. So it was really nice to hear, you know, new people are always coming in every day, which is wonderful. But when you mentioned, when we had this date scheduled, I was trying to figure out what to talk about, and I do, something happened for our friends group, FOSSE, Friends of Medfield Seniors Incorporated, and that's our fundraising branch of the Council on Aging, just like the Friends of the Medfield Public Library, sure. Community School Association. Well, we have FOSSE, so I'll just refer to it as FOSSE. And they have a really, really unique challenge in front of them. But before I get into say what the challenge is, I just want to talk a little bit about sort of the nuts and bolts of the Council on Aging and how we've grown and where we're at.
All right,
okay?
Sure, sounds good.
So each year for the state, I have to do an annual report which documents the participation, the growth, the number of volunteers, programming, that sort of thing. So I'm in the process of doing that now. And in fiscal year 16, we've had 891 people, unduplicated people, 891 people coming in using the center multiple times, one time, multiple times, it doesn't matter. We have 577 women, and we have 254 men.
Was that different? Wow, yeah. I didn't realize there was that different.
But I'm pretty happy with the 254 men. And we need to kind of think in terms of the only way we can track this is through people actually scanning in. And a lot of people come into the center who may not have a scan card because, oh, I'm just coming in once, or I'm just coming in twice. So they don't bother filling out the paperwork and getting the card. So there are a lot of people that we can't track. So I know that even though I say 891 people, I know there are more people than that that we serve. But we have documented a total duplicated number of 25,157 people being served. So that's somebody that might come in every day or somebody who might come in once. You know, so that's a lot of people that the Council on Aging is serving. We have an average of 54,200 hours of events, so a lot of programming. And our average daily attendance is 93 per day. And for several years, and you may remember, I always wanted to hit 100 and hit 100. And Tuesdays is the day where we actually go over 100. That's interesting. You would think it would be Wednesdays because in the summer we have our cookouts and so forth, yeah. But Tuesdays is our busiest day. And so the people that we can't capture, those people who maybe families who call about a loved one and have concerns, or the people coming in that are, someone's coming home from rehab and they're borrowing medical equipment, or just dropping in for information. You know, they have an appointment with the lawyer or the Shine counselor. We try to get everybody, but you can't always. So with that information and the amount of growth that we have seen in participation, as you know from town meeting this past April, Council on Aging had put an article on the town warrant to begin the process of increasing our space. But the Council on Aging decided to dismiss that for this year. But why? People say, why do you need more space? So the center is 7,900 square feet. Beautiful center. Everybody says it's the premier center for those people who go from center to center to center, which we have a lot of followers that do that. But according to the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, EOEA, the standard for a center should be 5 square feet per senior, 60-plus person.
Resident senior?
Resident senior, okay. So, and this is where our growth comes in. In 2010, with the federal census, our population was 2010. So I will never forget that. That just sticks in my brain. Which would make the recommended size of the center to be 10,050 square feet. We're at 7,900 square feet, so a little short. I just recently confirmed with Carol Mayer, our town clerk, and the 60-plus population in Medfield to date is 2,509. So that 60-plus population is really, as it's been all out in the newspapers and everywhere, is, you know, the baby boomers are, you know, that age group is exploding. So that, if we look at that 2,509 population, that would make our recommended senior center size to be 12,500 square feet. So just in keeping with the standards of EOEA, you know, we're a little shy with our population. The one thing that we don't know is how our population, the 60-plus population, will be affected with increased development in Medfield. So we don't know how that's going to affect us.
Especially the state hospital.
Correct, that's what I'm referring to.
That'll be the biggest issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, and with what I just said, obviously, if you look at those numbers and what the recommendations are, there is a need to plan for our future. And one of the things in terms of our future, and I just read an article over the weekend about the increase in early cognitive impairment with people in their late 50s and 60s. They're seeing a increase in people with memory loss. And of course, as people are living to 100, those folks, 90, 100, those folks are also experiencing some age-appropriate memory loss, but in order to provide a good quality of life for these people, they need additional services. And that falls into our club program, which we started in March 2012, which offers respite for caregivers. And again, a program that I'm so proud of because it was first funded by a grant from Metro West Health Foundation. We started with 1 client, and now we have 16 clients in the program. And there is a need out there in the community for more services for
I'm
people.
sure there is.
So, and the problem is we can't take any more people. 16 is our maximum. And to date, this is of interest, we have serviced 43 individuals and their families in the club program. So that's another one of the reasons why we were looking to begin the process of increasing our space, because there's a need.
Do you have a waiting list?
We do have a wait list.
A long waiting list?
We have about 3 people right now.
Okay.
And it's a matter of, it kind of like evolves. Sometimes we move everybody in, there's no one, and then all of a sudden we have people calling and interested in the program. So it does vary. So why am I sharing all of this information with you? So I believe
you want me to give you some money?
No, not really.
I'm
yet,
teasing.
Not yet. But I believe that the building is adequate for our current programs, without a doubt. But there's minimal room for growth. And I do have a chart here which will be displayed. But the building is completely in use 89% of the time. That means every room is occupied, and oftentimes we have, your knitting group gets bumped often into the library, and sometimes meetings are held in the reception area. So we're very busy.
And you have to be nice to our knitting group, because we had to talk about politics this week.
Oh.
And there were 5 of us there sitting, and we decided we had the perfect answer. We're all going to be president. Each will be 1/5 of a president. The 5 knitters will get together and run the country. And people out there, you won't have to worry about anything because the country will be safe because the 5 knitters will be out there.
Absolutely, and you have your needles in hand.
Right, we do.
And I think that's a great idea. You should send that out there.
I'm sure people would vote for all 5 of us.
I bet they would. At least the people in Medfield would.
But people are talking a lot about it, things like, and that's one of the best things about the center is it gives you a group to talk to.
Absolutely.
And you can laugh and joke. We talk politics all the time. There was nothing nasty about the political talk. It was just, hey, let's be president.
Well, this next few months is a time to talk politics for sure.
No question.
You know, but I'm just let me go back to my little spiel here, and we can sidetrack in a minute. But so 89% of the time the building is used completely, and so I am initiating some new programs in September. Always September is a good time to kick off new programs. So we have an evidence-based program for healthy living. We have a new art class. We have a rhythmic movement class starting, a hiking program, and a brain-boosting minds in motion program again. So a lot of things will be kicking in and starting in September. So why all of this? Because FOSSI, which I talked about at the beginning, has a unique and exciting challenge in front of them. A Medfield family has recognized what the Council on Aging does and the way it enhances people's lives and increases, their quality of their life. So they have made a donation to FOSSI, made a $10,000 donation to FOSSI to kind of help with our planning for our future. And then, along with that gift of $10,000, they have offered to match dollar for dollar up to $40,000 for a total donation to FOSSI of $50,000. So that is a really exciting opportunity for FOSSI to be able to start serious fundraising, and that family will match dollar for dollar, which will help in terms of planning for our future, and that planning, may be an addition to the building. It may in the future be something else, but I bring that to the community to hear that it's a gift. And so they will work hard, the Friends Group will work hard to do fundraising. They will have their booth at Medfield Day. They're planning some fall activities that will help with the whole challenge. And so they're very excited. Of course, I'm very excited for that and hope that people will support their efforts.
Who are the members of FOSSI today?
So today we have Chuck Conti,
Okay.
Bob Heald,
Okay, he's great. Yep.
Sue Monroe, and Norma Barr.
Okay.
And they are looking for people to come in and help with this challenge. They're looking for people to come in, join FOSSI, help with this challenge, and let's max out the offer. I think that would be really wonderful. Yeah. So that's the exciting news that we have.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
And interesting.
You don't have too many people coming and offering you $50,000.
That's right.
With a little hook, but it's worth working for.
Yeah, that's great. A great idea.
Yeah. So it's good. It's all good, and the summer has been very busy in some ways, but then slow. The weather's been so nice. A lot of people have been away on vacation, so attendance might be down a little bit, but still our average numbers hold at 93 people a day, so that's pretty exciting too.
It is, especially in this heat wave.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice place to come during the day because we have a great air conditioning system, and oftentimes people need to put their sweaters on, if they're a little too cool.
No, I always bring a sweater when I go up
I know,
to the
you
center.
just said that, yeah, which is
I do.
great. So we keep people warm in the winter, we keep them cool in the summer. It's all
What more
good.
could we ask?
That's right. Yeah.
And you always have free food there in the kitchen area.
We always have
handouts.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, which is great. That evidence-based program I talked about is going to be basically geared to people with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or someone who might have a family history of diabetes. and it's a diabetes self-management program. So to learn
Interesting.
Information about diabetes, how, and a lot of people know what you're supposed to do. You don't have concentrated sweets, you exercise and so forth. But this is really a hands-on workshop, and it runs for 6 weeks. The program is offered through the Foxborough COA. They received a grant, and it was offered to communities nearby, and so I picked up on it. So I'm excited. We have great programs, but they've never been quote unquote evidence-based. So this is something that's out there in the aging arena to have evidence-based programs. So this will happen. We need to have 8 people be interested in the program, and you have to commit to 4 weeks of the 6.
Every day, or what?
It's going to be on Fridays, beginning Friday, September 23rd, and it will be from 9:30 to 12. So it's a 2.5-hour program. Usually gets out a little early, I'm told, but it's a great way to gather information, especially if you have a family history of diabetes. It might give you some tips and things to think about to prevent yourself maybe from developing diabetes. So that's a good one.
I have none in my family, but my husband did.
Oh yeah. So it's just offering something new and different out there for people. So I hope that we have enough that will take advantage of the program.
That's a great idea. You guys are always on top of finding something new. I don't know how you do it, but you do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? You hear people say something. Like somebody said probably many months ago that I wish I had some information on diabetes, and then this opportunity came in front of me, and I'm like, yep, let's just grab it and give it a shot. It's easy to plan something, schedule it. If people sign up for it, it's great. Like that Minds in Motion, Jerry Ciancolo, he's a Medfield resident and volunteered in our club program for almost 2 years.
Yeah, it was great.
And now is bringing Minds in Motion. He started in Medfield, and now he's bringing it to other senior centers.
Super.
And there's, people are, wait list to get into Jerry's class.
Because that's one of the most important things in the
Yes.
world for us as we get older.
Yes.
Is keeping our minds sharp.
Your mind sharp.
I worry about it.
And I think it's it's a 2-part thing. It's your physical health and your mental health. You have to work on both. So all the 12 exercise classes we offer are fabulous, and then when we get the programs like the diabetes self-management, Minds in Motion, even go so far as to say the new painting and drawing class that's going to start in September. All of that is all positive things for promoting wellness.
It is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyhow, we have our cookouts. We have 2 more cookouts.
And they're fun.
They're fun, yes. They're great. And so we have one Wednesday this week, and then August 10th will be our last one.
I paid my $6 for the one this week.
Yeah, good.
All paid up, ready for action.
Hopefully our menu is going to be good. To be planned tomorrow.
Just going to ask you what we're going to have.
Yeah, we're going to shoot for chicken.
Okay, I like chicken.
Yeah, chicken, yeah, so that'll be good. So that's a good thing. And we have our bocce court is up and running. Anyone is interested in playing bocce during the week, if you have your own balls, it's there, come and play bocce after hours if you're so inclined. It's a great court. Fridays, the ladies are back playing bocce, which is nice, and it's really a good thing.
Yeah, my eyes are so bad I had trouble with the bocce.
Oh, but, yeah, I know.
Some other day they'll find something that I can do like that. Be fun.
Well, you come up with something you want to do and we'll try it. Suggestions are great. We love suggestions.
I don't think you want somebody with my eyesight playing darts. I don't think that would be a very good idea.
Well, yeah, that probably isn't like the best thing.
Or if so, you want to be out of the building.
Yeah.
Because you're not even sure where that dart is going to go.
That wouldn't be good. We wouldn't get our low vision group to play darts. Which, that's a very active group.
It's a nice group.
Yeah, the low vision group meets the second Tuesday of the month, and people just exchange ideas, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and I think it's a great way for people who are beginning to have some vision troubles.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And the other, we have 2 other support groups besides low vision. We have the caregiver support group, and that meets on the last Thursday of the month. That's great. That's just, people are so supportive of one another when they're
But they
in.
have to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible
definitely.
spot to be in.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah. So I'm very supportive. You just learn a lot. You get a lot of information, resources that can be helpful. I've sat in the last couple, and it's really interesting. You know, just
Must be hard for them to keep their spirits up. Huh? Could be such a depressing thing to go through.
I'm going to say no.
Really?
Yeah. When you sit in there and you listen to the group, they just pump each other up.
I'm sure that big group is, but I mean, if you're alone, I think it would be so
my
depressing.
goodness, if you're alone, yes, very much so. And that's one of the benefits about our club program, is that, you know, you can bring your loved one into a safe, stimulating environment, and you actually have 10 hours a week to yourself.
You have a break.
You have a break, yeah. And, you know, probably about 2 years ago, I had the thought of increasing the club program to a third day. But the reality is we just can't do that because of staffing and space and so forth and so on. But then I went back recently and looked at the original grant that I wrote, and the literature showed that 2 days a week of respite was adequate for people. It gave them enough sense of relief that they could go back and continue for the rest of the week. So that's what we offer, is the 2 days. And let me, this is interesting too. I always thought when I wrote the grant that people would come to our club program 2 days a week, and then they would go to, say, Norwood Adult Day Health, maybe do 4 or 5 days a week, then eventually go into long-term care. You know, not the case. Our 2 days a week gives people enough respite that they can continue to do their responsibilities.
That's great.
So what we found, only 2 clients of our 43 that I mentioned we've taken care of have gone from our program to an adult day health program. Everyone else has been in our program, has either gone to long-term care or got ill and passed away.
Right.
So I do know that our program at 2 days is really making a difference in people's lives.
Oh, I bet it is.
Yeah.
I have no doubt at all.
Yeah.
I've talked to several of the caregivers privately because they're friends.
Yeah.
And I admire the fact that they did it for so long,
Right.
uncomplainingly. But this is such a break for them. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's a good thing. Yep.
When you walk down the aisle and say, "Until death do us part," you don't think of all those other things that can happen till death comes.
Yeah.
And some of them are worse, I think, than death itself.
Yeah. But, you know, one thing I'm just going to say, we have coming up, I mentioned the hiking group. So we have Mr. Comrie, who's a Medfield resident, and he's involved with the Bay Circuit Trail, which goes behind the center. He is going to be leading our hiking group, and the first hike is going to be on September 15th at 10 o'clock. So that will be in the newsletter, you know, about what to wear and so forth. But I think that's going to be great to get people out in the fall, you know, early fall, so it's still going to be nice weather, and just take a nice hike.
That's great. How long will the hikes be? Do you have any idea?
So probably 45 minutes to an hour,
not
you know,
bad.
the first just to start, you know. And he says really hiking is just socialized walking.
Yes, it is.
So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I think that'll be nice to get people out and maybe see a different trail in Medfield,
And
which we
walking-
have some.
Just plain walking can be socializing
Of
because you stop and
course.
see people and you end up going
Oh,
the same
yes.
way.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, I hope my knees recover enough that I can walk more than I've been doing, but I've
You're
been back
doing
walking.
fabulous.
No, I'm back walking.
Yeah.
But I have to be careful how far I go. 'Cause
Of
I don't want to
course.
stress them.
Of course. Yeah.
But transplates are a wonderful thing that they didn't have a generation ago, but
Right.
we're lucky we have them.
Right.
So I've had 5 so far and still moving.
Wow.
Which is great.
So the bionic woman.
Well, click, click, click when I go through the airport.
And they get the little wand out.
Yep,
and
oh, they do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, they
That's
do.
funny.
But still, the hiking would be marvelous.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to do that.
I'm excited about that. So I thank Mr. Comrie for doing that. That's great. Yeah.
It was his idea?
It was a joint.
Sure, good.
Joint effort. You know, you just kind of, you look at what somebody brings to the table or brings into the Council on Aging, and then you try to capitalize on it. you know. So I know that was his thing, the Bay Circuit Trail and the hiking. So let's bring that right into the center and see if it takes off. Yeah. So if anybody has a hobby or something they like to do out there and you want to start a group
That's a
at
great
the
idea.
center, come on in and we can do that.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah. So it'll work. It'll be
I'd
good.
love to be able to get back into a canoe again. I'm not sure whether I can.
Oh, how about a rowboat?
Well,
Might be
I don't-
easier to get into a rowboat than a
maybe,
canoe.
but we have a canoe, and I've been very tempted to try it, and I thought, with my luck, I'll go and be back in the water.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, the canoeing would be wonderful to do.
Uh-huh.
It would
Interesting.
be. It would be
Well,
great.
you know what? We're going to have to make that work for you. We're going to have to get you in a canoe, put it in the water, and off you go.
And try it.
That's right.
It'd be fun. Be fun to try it again.
Yeah, that's right.
Spent a lot of time on the Charles River over the years with
Yeah.
the kids.
I know, that's beautiful.
We used
in
to
the
do it all the
fall
time.
and the spring. It's just gorgeous.
I'll go up into Dover and all on the rapids. That was wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. That's nice. Yeah. So I have to tell you, I think I shared all that I have to share. Do you have any questions for me?
I have one question. What if somebody has an issue and they're not sure who in the center to call?
Yeah.
Like, I've been up there enough, God knows, lately that I know who the staff is. But suppose somebody newer to town or doesn't know. Suppose they just call and ask the desk person and say, I have a question about my taxes, or
Yeah.
I have a question about doctor recommendations, or whatever. So how is that handled?
So new people coming into the center and they have questions like that, they're either referred to Cheryl LaValle, who's the outreach worker. If I'm there, I can jump in, or even Susan Bernstein, the volunteer coordinator. There's always somebody a staff person in the building, even if we have trips and doing this, that, and the other thing, but there's always somebody in the building. So if our receptionist, will say, let me get a staff person for you, basically, and then we just take it from there. But they do know, if they come in and say, I have a question about my health insurance, the first thing they will say is, well, let's set you up with an appointment with our Shine counselor. So that's easy. Somebody comes in and says, Jeepers, I want to talk to someone about my healthcare proxy or my, power of attorney. That would be, we have a lawyer that comes in the first Wednesday of the month. Why don't we set you up with a consultation with her, and she can kind of give you some guidance. So some of those things are just, they just know right off.
What if they have a more personal problem, like I'm lonely, I'm depressed,
Right.
I don't like living alone? What if it's something more emotional than that?
Right, then that goes straight to one of us, to Cheryl, to myself, to Susan. And if somebody comes in and says, we hear them say they're lonely, they won't be lonely for long.
Good, because I think there's a lot of loneliness out there with people as they get older.
Oh, absolutely, and that's, I'll go back to a very long time ago with transportation. That's why transportation's so important, because it gets people out of their house, and it gets people to where they have to go. Because when you stay in your house, and we've talked about this before, when you stay in your house, your apartment, whatever you live in, those four walls just close in on you. You don't talk to anybody,
good.
you just have the TV on. It can be horrible. So transportation is huge, and Bill Party just does a magnificent job getting people to where they need to go.
It's hard to praise him too much. I don't think it's possible, because he is so good.
He is so good, absolutely.
Your whole
And
staff is.
Yep.
I don't have a complaint about a single one of them.
I have a good staff.
You have a great staff, and
Yeah.
you're pretty good yourself. No,
Well, I hired my staff.
but I think you're all together. It's a good team.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great team.
It really is a good team.
We work really well together. We complement one another's, what we're expert in. So we do really work well together. But going back to the loneliness, is that I think the transportation is huge to combat loneliness and
Bill
which leads
encourages-
to depression.
I have one friend who's been alone for a long time, and he really encourages her to come.
Yep.
Yeah. Why aren't you coming more
Yep.
often? Why not Monday? Why don't you come up Tuesday?
Right.
And
Right.
that's exactly what you need, is somebody to draw you out, I think, a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. So, overall, I think the way the Council on Aging runs, I think we do a fabulous job, and it's just so important to, you know, when somebody new comes into the building, like when I started, the gentleman just coming in for the first time for exercise, before we left to come here, I made sure Cheryl knew that, you know, this person was there, going to go into exercise for the very first time. So she was going to, you know, greet them, bring them in, introduce them to the instructor. So we do have a real personal touch with everyone who comes into the building. Everybody gets a hello, how are you? Everybody's greeted with a smile, and it's a very welcoming place.
It is. Have you ever thought about having a group of people that live alone, like me? Different churches have groups, but a place where we talked at one point with a few of us got together saying, well, how about a loners club? We can go out to dinner occasionally, just all the single people that are around.
Sure.
Which isn't a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. Well, we have coming up in August, we have a dine around. We usually leave about 4:30. And so that's kind of, I think, on the idea of what you're saying, but you know, people have to read the newsletter, or a friend has to say, hey, they're having a dine around on such and such a day. Let's go.
What is it? I don't know about that.
Oh, you
I
don't
can't
know
read the
about
news.
that?
I can't read the newsletter. So
dine around is where people gather. We pick people up, people gather, and we go out to dinner. That's it.
oh, that's nice.
Just dine around. And most recently, we went to the Primavera on Wednesday. We usually do them on Wednesdays, and that's their $10 night, which is even a bonus.
That's pretty good.
That's even a bonus. So, yeah.
I'll have to keep my eyes out for that one then.
Yeah. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but we do that. But you know, I wouldn't want to call it the Loners Club, though.
Well, that's what we kept thinking. It wasn't a very good name.
Right.
But it was the concept of so many people are alone.
Yeah.
That would be nice to have a group that you could
Yes.
join with.
Yep.
And so you don't go to the movies alone.
Right.
So I have some friends that can still drive.
Sure.
And they go to the movies alone, and they said it's not any fun to go to the movies by yourself.
No.
And I
for
agree. I don't
sure.
think it would be.
You know, and maybe for some people, a dinner would be maybe not appropriate, so it may be doing a lunch would work, you know? Doing a lunch around, something like that. I don't know.
And a couple of us say weekends are harder.
Weekends,
emptier.
I know. Last year we tried to open up on Saturdays a few days, and we'll probably do that again. I just have to figure out staffing, and you know, we really need that bus to be in
You
operation.
have to have the bus, absolutely.
So maybe we'll be looking for volunteers who might either be in the building and a staff can drive the bus, or volunteer to drive the bus and staff in the building type
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. So
It's something to think about, I think.
Yep, definitely.
Because as the years go on, there are going to be more and more people that are living alone.
Yep.
And we want to keep them here in Medfield and keep them happy.
We do. Well, that's a whole nother topic of housing. So
I know.
We don't want to touch that one, though.
No, but I'm lucky I have a perfect spot to live in, as you know, in a small house, which is great.
Yeah, but not everyone is as lucky, and
Right.
so hopefully that's going to be addressed in the
Well, I
near
think a
future.
state hospital will take care of a lot of it.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah. So that's good.
That's very good. So anything for the immediate future until we meet again in a month?
No,
No?
No.
No surprises in a month?
no surprises. No,
You're not going to win megabucks in the meantime?
no, you are.
Oh,
You are,
You know
because
what?
you said
you know
when
how
you
long mine
win.
is. You know what I'm going to do.
There we go. We'll have that edition next month if you win tomorrow.
Plus, I'm going to have the bus on the weekends.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'm also going to buy my own car,
Okay.
and I'm going to have a car driver. So if any of my friends have a doctor appointment or a dental appointment, or
You're
want to
going
go.
to take business away from us then.
Oh no, this is just going to be nice, free. This is out of town. Be
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Be great.
Perfect.
I think it'd be wonderful to do.
Well,
So I
play
promised that to some of my bridge
play
friends.
those numbers. Buy your tickets.
Wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an uncle that used to give money away anonymously.
Yeah.
And one of my sons needed some surgery for birth defects, and Blue Cross Blue Shield didn't pay for it then. Now they do. We raised some ways to ruckus after it. But one Saturday morning, I went out to get my mail from outside my front door, and there was a cheap envelope with my name stamped on it. And inside was a piece of brown paper cut out, looked like with manicure scissors, and inside was a crisp new $5 bill. I thought, now who in the world sent me $5? I'm going back 50 years. This was a lot of money in 50 years. So I asked everyone, nobody knew. The next Saturday there was another one, next Saturday another one. I kept asking people. It went on for 1 full year, and I was hiding the money in my bureau drawer under my underwear, afraid somebody was going to demand their money back, that maybe I stole it from somebody. So we got the money for 1 full year and never found out until my Uncle Ed was dying and I went down to Philadelphia to see him. And he said, he was my godfather. He said, by the way, did you ever find out who sent you those $5 bills? And I said, no, I still wonder. And he said, Ann, I did. And I said, Uncle Ed, do you have any idea what it did for me? And he said, Ann, do you have any idea what it did for me?
Yeah.
And he was right on target. And I would love to do that. Just send it anonymous.
Yeah.
Just to people that deserve it and need it. It would be wonderful. That
Well,
would be the biggest pleasure in life.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to close with anyone who wants to make an anonymous donation to the Fosse Fundraising Challenge. What a lead you gave me.
You don't even need the brown paper, but
Not at all.
so and who they make the check out to?
Fosse.
To Fosse.
Yeah.
And put a little stub on there.
F-O-S-I. Yeah.
And mark it for what?
For
Future needs or
future planning.
future planning?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's some money
great
out there.
story. I like that.
Well, if I don't win, maybe one of these other people will win.
You never know. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for the good idea, and thank you everybody for watching
Yeah.
Happenings at the Senior Center, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks and hear what else Roberta's got on her slate, because it's a busy slate.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank
Roberta.
you.
Great
Thank you.
job.
The preceding was a production of Medfield TV.